Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great episode of the Gridiron Glory here with Will and Tad. We discuss all things January football, week 18, and we are discussing the battle of the one seed, the battle for the one seed in the NFC, I should say, the Vikings going to Detroit, and it's the Lions with a dominant 31 to 9 victory, proclaiming their status as the best team in the NFC. They do this. They sweep the division 6-0, um, and lock up the number one seed. They will be receiving a bye in the first round of the playoffs, as they've earned that with the best record outright in the NFC. And it's the 14-3 Minnesota Vikings. They will be the first ever 14-win wild card team going on the road to face the Rams in the first round of the playoffs. So how did this happen? Just some very efficient football from the Detroit Lions offense, especially in the second half. Jared Goff, he goes 27 for 33, 231, a touchdown. Does have two interceptions, so he did have some plays that were turnover worthy level passes. So certainly some things for him to clean up as they go into the playoffs, but overall, a very efficient night for the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs, the best player on the field when Detroit was on offense, goes to 23 carries, 139 yards, three touchdowns, also five catches for 31 yards and another touchdown. So all four Detroit touchdowns can be accounted to number 26, Jahmyr Gibbs, their second year running back. And he's obviously had to take a bit of a larger load the past several weeks with David Montgomery sidelined, but there is some optimism in the Detroit room that David Montgomery, to some extent, could potentially be back after their bye week. So keep watching there. Certainly nothing confirmed, and that would be a very quick recovery. So maybe that's just some optimism there, but big news there. In the receiving room, they had St. Brown with six catches for 77 yards. Sam Laporta 7 for 63. So a lot of big work there by the Detroit receivers. The offensive line, as always, was top tier. So a very efficient day for the Detroit um, offense. The real story though was their goal line defense completely swamped the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, the Vikings, they get to the goal line several times. They had, I want to say it was four goal line possessions, and they turned into two field goals and two four and outs. So just the Vikings not able to execute at the goal line. A lot of empty passes. Sam Darnold definitely looking more like the New York Jets version of Sam Darnold, going 18 of 41 for 166 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, an unfortunate end to what's been a renaissance season for the Viking signal caller.
Yeah, obviously a rough game. I mean, I personally believe this game was a lot closer than what the score appeared to be. I mean, the Lions did obviously break away at the end of this one, but for most of this game, you guys stayed in it. You guys competed. Obviously there were some big plays on the defense by the Vikings. I don't think that should be discounted either.
Yeah.
Including the big hit by Andrew Van Ginkel on Jahmyr Gibbs. And I would personally love to ask you, where would you rank Andrew Van Ginkel amongst defensive players overall in the NFL?
I mean, the Gink is a Pro Bowler this year. He's had a great first year for the Vikings. And I mean, he's established himself, I think, as potentially even a top 10, maybe even top five if you're taking an optimistic view, defensive player in the league. I mean, this is a player that he's being recognized for his talents, like I said, with the Pro Bowl bid. And I mean, he's been a tough player to scheme around. That hit he had against Gibbs, I mean, a picture perfect hit. I mean, it wasn't a dirty hit, but it was a hit that like it makes you think like
It was
it
a
makes you think
football
about
hit.
what you're doing. It was a football play for sure. And I mean, and I was just thinking, I mean, Van Ginkel, he had a huge opportunity where when we were down 8, he could have he got his hands on a pass that he could have picked off and basically ran all the way back, but didn't break that way. But Van Ginkel, an incredible defensive player. It was a very strong defensive effort for the Vikings. I mean, that is why they stayed in the game. I
What's
mean, it
what's
was.
what's interesting about this is a 14-3 season, but two of those three losses are versus Detroit. Kind of mind
I
blowing.
mean, I mean, it's mind blowing in a way, but it's also not because like Detroit, they've kind of just established themselves as the class of the NFC. I mean, they definitely. I mean, they win the division last year, and they've only gotten better. I mean, they dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and that's how you win in the NFL. I mean, if you're gonna dominate the way they do at the line, you're gonna win a lot of football games. And as you can see this year, 15-2, second, actually tied for the best record in the NFL now with Kansas City losing. They have tied for the best record in the NFL. So, I mean, they've won a lot of football games by playing the right way.
They've won a lot of football games by playing the right way. I would even still go as far as to say they're not just the best team in the NFC, the best team in the NFL as of currently right now. Going into the playoffs, they are the number one ranked team of the 14 that are still alive. So uh, I just think they have everything that it takes to hoist that Lombardi trophy.
Yeah, and they're only going to continue to get healthier. I mean, they've had obviously a lot of injuries, especially on defense. It was great for them to get um Anzalone back for the Vikings game. And obviously we gave that brief update on David Montgomery. They'll love to get him back and then just see who they can get back. I mean, it'd be great for them if they could get Aiden Hutchinson back. That still seems rather unlikely to me, but he's talked about how he wants to come back and play in the Super Bowl if they get that far. So that would obviously be incredible for them if that's possible. I think that's a bit of a stretch just from how long it takes to recover, but just this is a team that we could just see them get better if they can get healthy.
It's a team that you can see them get better if they get healthy. I mean, the Vikings. I mean, obviously they still have the same goal in mind. They want to hoist. They want to hoist that Lombardi Trophy as well. But now going into the playoffs, they have a bit of a tougher road than the Lions do, starting
I mean,
at the Los
certainly,
Angeles
yes.
Rams next week.
Yeah, they'll
So
be playing against a Rams team. They've already lost two on the road. That was their third of the three losses. Aside from the two to Detroit. So a lot of questions there. It certainly won't be an easy matchup. I mean, the Vikings, they're slight favorites in the game, but I mean, Matthew Stafford, he's a guy that he's been around the block, and I mean, and this will be Sam Darnold's first ever playoff start. So, I mean, there's a big juxtapose there. There's a big difference. So we'll see if Sam Darnold, if the Vikings are going to have a chance in the playoffs, they're going to need more from Sam Darnold than what they got in this football game.
you're going to need more from Sam Darnold than what they got. I just felt like, it was more of a mental thing for Sam Darnold. I feel like
For
the
sure.
pressure of the moment got to him. Like we're looking at the numbers, sure, but I just feel like more so than not, it was the pressure of the moment and Sam Darnold's composure folded underneath it. And he's going to have to learn to compose himself in even more serious situations in the playoffs and being a leader in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to discount that this was by far the biggest game he's ever played in his career. I mean, by far. I mean, he's never really been on a contending team. He's never started for a contending team. So this is just a big difference from what we've seen in terms of the magnitude of the moment. And he did not rise to the moment in Detroit. He'll have another opportunity to change the narrative in LA against the Rams.
Absolutely. So, only seven teams in the history of the NFL have, or I'm sorry, only seven wild card teams in the history of the NFL have won the Super Bowl. last team to do it, the 2020 Buccaneers, when they did it over them Chiefs, which you love to see, maybe. Maybe for me at least. Yeah. So Vikings. Good luck to them against the Rams. Best of
Well,
luck.
thank you.
Yeah, but other than that, yeah, 31-9. I didn't really have any other final thoughts or takes on the game, sir.
Yeah, so yeah, just a reminder, this will be the games Monday, ESPN, the last game of Super Wild Card Weekend. Thank you for continuing to watch the Gridiron Glory, and please continue to like, follow, and subscribe as we move into the playoffs. Thanks for watching.